Can you see?
Yes, yes, I can. So welcome to this fifth session, public service and running for office. And before we do anything, go anywhere, I would like one of the ladies, the young ladies, to start with our prayer. Who would like to go ahead? This is like the second last chance to do this prayer. Or should I choose?
I think you should choose.
Okay. Melita, have you done the prayer?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Thank you in advance for doing the prayer for us, for saying the prayer for us.
Okay, I'll do it.
Thank you. Well, if you can just put it up on the screen. I don't see it. It's.
Can anyone else see it?
Not yet. We're still seeing the second slide.
Okay, hold on a moment. Sorry, not sure what's going on. Let me try again. And now?
Wait, we'll tell you just. Yes, there we go. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. I am my sister's keeper. I will build my sister up, encourage her, empower her, and pray for her. I have no reason to talk about her, tear her down, be jealous of her, or to compete with her. I am going to stand behind her and help push her into her destiny. Pretty woman, pray.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, Melita. Thank you.
Yeah.
And every time we say this prayer, I really hope that the words, mean something to us. And yeah, this is one prayer I think we should all have it laminated somewhere in our bedrooms. So thank you, Melita, for this. And we can move on. So for me, this evening, the icebreaker is a quote by Maya Angelou. And it says, each time a woman stands up for herself, without knowing it, possibly without claiming it, she stands up for all women. Just remember that. Each time a woman stands up for herself, without knowing it, possibly without claiming it, she stands up for all women. And you'll see as we go on why I chose this particular quote from Maya Angelou. And is Nikki on? I didn't see if she's here. Nikki, are you here? Yes, she is here.
I'm here. Sorry, I am. You can't see me. My technology is not working, but I'm here. I'm here.
No, we can hear you. It's fine. So I'm going to ask Nikki to recap on the last 4 sessions for us, and then I'll go into the 5th session. That's where you'll see why I chose this quote from Maya Angelou. Nikki, if you could just recap for us.
Brilliant, I'll do. Welcome back, everybody. Just saw you 2 days ago. Lovely to see you again.
Thank you.
So in session 1, the topic was building trust, and it highlighted the importance of finding people who are going to help you achieve your goals. And then in session 2, the theme was becoming a courageous leader, and the key concepts around that is finding your mission and knowing your purpose, finding the things that you are passionate and care about, and then to invest in your information gathering years, because sometimes we don't always have a plan figured out. And then in those times, we're gathering information. The importance of growing your village, much like a group like this, where you can lean on your fellow sisters to help guide you into becoming a courageous leader. And so basically seek out the people that's in your community that you can trust. It's building on session 1. Then in session 3, we discussed the art of communication. And in the video, the professor shared techniques for telling your story and crafting speeches and best handling communications. And the key concepts there were knowing your audience, knowing your why, what your values are, and what motivates you, your passions, your burning desires. And then bringing that in through storytelling. So, you know, you had your mission in your purpose, and telling your story as to, you know, why you're passionate about it and why you believe in that. And then session 4, we touched on just on Wednesday. It was on negotiation and advocating for yourself, and the key strategy was focusing on learning key strategies to advocate for yourself and for others, so that it built across on the acronym of U. So identifying what are your goals and interests, what are your barriers to achieving these goals, and what are your strategies to achieve them. And then it also, the O is advocating for others. Who are the other people who can help you achieve your goals? And then also understanding what those other people's needs are, and then positioning your story and framing your story in a way which you're getting your message across, but they're also getting something out of it. And understanding how you can achieve, how your communication if it's clear and effective, that you will bring your message across, and then you will have a good outcome in your negotiation. And then we're here at session 5, which is running for public service, or public service and running for office, or in South Africa we say, you know, getting into a leadership role and being of service. Do you want me to just stop there?
Yes, I'll continue from here.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, Nikki.
Pleasure.
And yes, so here we are, public service and running for office. So the past 4 sessions were just about really information gathering and taking some lessons, you know, that learning certain things that will help you to now put what this running for office into practice. And all the stuff that you've learned in the past 4 sessions are going to help you to put it into practice. So using the strategies and methods you were taught, they now become very crucial when you want to run for office, you know. And running for office is one of the most important roles that women need to be part of. If you, I hope we all watched Professor Jedding's presentation or interview. It's very important, and you'll understand why when I start breaking down these numbers to you. We all do, well, the youngsters who are here are doing maths at school. So as women, we make 51% of the population in the world. So we are 1% more than men. But 70% of women are poor in the world. And 83% of women are single parents. Yet doing 66% of the work and produce 60 to 80% of the food, but earn just 11% of the pay and own only 1% of the land. I don't know if you, when I read this, it's still unbelievable. I cannot comprehend this, but this is the reality. This is where we are as women. And hence the Maya Angelou quote. Now I hope you understand why I chose that quote. Because if we don't stand up, we'll be talking these numbers 20, 30 years from now. I don't want to be talking these numbers 20 years from now. And I hope what we've started here with you ladies is the beginning of change, you know, for the better. That's what my hope is all about. And the reality is that this is where we are as women. So the more reason we need to make sure that we participate in leadership roles. Now, when we say public service or running for office, it does not mean running for a political position only. It talks about becoming a leader in your own right. I'll give you an example. In your community, if there's something you'd like to change within your community, within your immediate environment, it could be an example, there are potholes, you know, in your street, and everyone is complaining about them but doing nothing about it. This is where you can pick up and actually lead in something as simple as that. That's a leadership role. At school, becoming a prefect, you know, what is it that in your school that you are not happy about, or something that you just feel you've got this burning desire that you need to see something change, but we're talking change for the better here. So this is where we come in. This is now, it's a leadership role. That's becoming a leader. Anything that you see that, you know, what I'm trying to say to you is that let's stop being part of the group where people just moan and complain and do nothing about it. From what we've learned in the past 4 sessions, it says to us that we are now ready to take on certain things that we are not happy about. And that is being a leader. Now, before our guest speakers comes in, I would like to go through some of the key concepts, you know, for this session. And these for me they are a must to be taken into consideration before you start running for office. Well, something is not right with that vision, but I'll continue while you're sorting it out. I don't know if it's me.
What are you seeing?
You can't see it clearly. It's like stretched.
Oh, that's weird. Sorry. Why am I having issues this evening?
Anyway, so the key concepts. So one, they talk about, they say, don't change who you are. So we need to be confident in who we are as women. Show your true self, you know. Always remember that when you go and speak to people, if you're not being honest, if you're not being your authentic self, people will see right through it and they will not trust you. So that's the first key. Be who you are. You know, don't change who you are. If you stay your true self, you'll always win at the end of the day. The second one says nothing should arrive before you. You know, it is important to present yourself in the right way. You know, if you want to be a prefect in your school, you cannot show up with yellow hair. You know, you cannot. You need to be that example. People must look at you. Your fellow students, colleagues must look at you and think, "Wow, I want to be just like her." There must be something about you that stands out. Because when you go and stand in front of them, whether it's a debate or you need to be able to convince them. So you cannot not look right if you're going to apply for a leadership position. If you're applying for a corporate job, for example, we've seen it where the cleavage is, you know, it's out there. People going for interviews, wearing the wrong dress, you know, wearing too much makeup. You want people to listen to what you have to say. You know, Professor Jennings talks about people must look at, you know, from the top of your head to your belly and then the width of your shoulders. That's where people must concentrate. And when they concentrate on what you're saying, then you're able to get your message across. It's very important, again, to know and understand your subject. Yeah. The third one, they talk about getting your hands and voice to work together in delivering your message for people to believe it. He talks about studies that have shown that 55% of the people said they connected with body language. You know, when I heard him say this, I I got very excited because as women, this is where we excel. This is our natural self, using our hands, you know, using our body language. This is where we excel. So don't think that you using your hands will become destructive. No, if you understand what you say, if you understand your subject, remain a woman. There's nothing wrong with being a woman. We need to understand that. I need to get that message across. There is nothing wrong with being a woman. If you go and become an engineer, there is nothing wrong with looking after your nails. There's nothing wrong with looking after your hair. There is absolutely nothing wrong with looking after yourself. You know? The fourth one, they say, don't let anyone ever patronize you. And unfortunately, studies have shown that women are perceived to be the weaker sex. I mean, the weaker gender. Some men see us as sex objects, you know. You are going to find that in leadership positions, So the higher you go, the higher your position, it will be mainly men in those positions. You are going to sit in board meetings where you are alone. There will be 8 men and you'll be the only woman in there. Don't let anyone patronize you. You will come across men who are not nice. That's the reality of life. There are other women who are not nice, but you'll come across men who make comments that are unacceptable. When that happens, you need to address it immediately. If someone says something that you're not happy about, you need to address it immediately. And always remember that often in leadership positions, as women, we are treated differently and to unfair high standards than men. That's the reality. That is why this session is so important. It helps prepare you for those times when you're going to come across the type of men who think you are the weaker gender. So this is where we are. This is for us as women. And I know we've done the other sessions, but because this is where we now get to a point where we are going to put this into practice, I cannot emphasize how important this session is. How important, I mean, especially when we look at our guest speaker, who's going to be talking to us just now. I don't know, she's young, she's still in university, but when I was reading her resume, I thought, oh my goodness, I think I'm so far behind. Val, you still can't change that, the slides. Is it
I
me
actually
alone?
No, I have changed it. I'm just not sure why it's not working. Maybe just try it again. It's so weird. On my side, it looks perfect.
All the
And
other
now?
ladies? Maybe it's me. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see the screen.
Maybe
Okay.
it's me.
Yeah, we can
So
see.
what did I do?
Okay, so I've got the guest speaker slide on now.
I can't see it. I don't know what's going on. It's as if my computer is frozen, like literally. Oh gosh.
Do you want me to read it?
Somebody can read.
Do you want me to read it for you?
Please read it, then I'll probably log out and log in again.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
So ladies, I would like you to give a G4G welcome. Everybody, please. We have a fellow G4G graduate speaking to us this evening. He literally graduated from G4G University of Pretoria Cohort 2 weeks ago, I think it is, Akutswe. Her name is Akutswe Mangami, and she's currently a law student at the University of Pretoria. She's also a peace builder and an activist. She's a director of the Tuck Rares Women in Leadership Academy, and their mission is to empower women leaders and change makers to build more equal and peaceful, to build a more equal and peaceful society. Akutswe recognizes that women leadership for sustainable peace is a matter of urgency. And the reason that we chose her for this evening is because she absolutely epitomizes what we want to see coming out of G4G. She has taken up missions that she cares about and ideas that she cares about, and she is leading in those positions to change her environment and create a better environment around her by driving the agendas that she really cares about. She is truly and utterly living the principles of G4G in terms of leadership and service. So welcome, Akutswe. Please go ahead. It's so lovely to have you here this evening.
Thank you so much, Val. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation. Hello, everyone. I see Gloria. She was also part of the UP cohort. So nice to see you there. I am so honored that you hi, that you called me to come and speak today with a young woman. Any opportunity to speak to young women is always a good opportunity. So I'm very, very, very excited. So I don't know if I can see all the young women, but hello to all of you. My name is Akudzwe. Mangami, I see you waving. Good to see you. Good to see you. So exciting to see you all here. I trust we're going to have a lovely time. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to tell my story and how I am where I am, but also then put in the principles that we are trying to have you learn today. Okay, so quick background. I am an international student, actually. My family is based in Zimbabwe. So I've been born and raised here. I only moved to South Africa in 2017 for university, where I am studying law, as Val said. And yeah, I am now in my 4th year at the university, but 3rd year LLB because I did BA Law and LLB. And so my story with leadership starts all the way in junior school. Yes, it does. And what happened was my earliest run for office was being a prefect in junior school, right? And unfortunately, I didn't make it in junior school for leadership. And one of the things they said was, well, she's not necessarily a leader. And I remember my parents disagreed. And I remember saying to myself, no, surely this is not the path for me. So when I went into high school, I started to intentionally work towards building myself, building my confidence, establishing who I am so that I'd be able to step into these positions of leadership and actually make an influence. So the first question I would like to ask you is, who are you, right? Do you know yourself? I know in high school, one of the issues we have as young women is we see other young women and they're great, they inspire us. But the problem is when we try to replicate them or replicate what they do, then we take our own authenticity from ourselves, right? So I know one of the things in the video you watched prior to this is the professor who says, you are never going to be someone else. And I think that's a key principle to remember in leadership, because I'm telling you, when it comes to being a leader, and especially a woman in leadership, the best kind of leadership is when you operate from a place of being yourself, of knowing who you are, knowing what you stand for, and knowing what you believe. So personally, in my personal life, my starting point when establishing who I am, or back then when I was trying to establish who I am a believer. So the first thing for me was to establish, who does God say I am, right? And after establishing who God says I am, I was able to say, okay, this is who God says I am. And a lot of what that does, or what that did for me, was to take away the elements of insecurity, the questions like, am I good enough? Because God says I am good enough. You know, God says I am fearfully, I am wonderfully made, right? I'm the head, I am not the tail, I'm above, I am not beneath. And so those affirmations from knowing who I am in God help me to establish that when I step into these platforms, when I am in school, I am enough. And I think at times in high school, we struggle the most with who we are and whether we are enough, right? But we are enough. And I want you to know that you are enough. With your background, with where you come from, with everything you have, everything you need to make a change in the world is right where you are. I think sometimes we want to bring external factors in, like, oh, I don't have enough resources to do this. Well, then talk to someone in your community, collaborate, right? And bring it to life, right? You don't need to, and then in some cases, I know myself, I'm not from a well-off family. So I know sometimes people would limit themselves from doing certain things by virtue of the fact that, oh, okay, I don't have enough finances to do A, B, C, D, F, and G. But you can use your voice, right? There are some young women who are in the northern countries of Africa, for example, who are in war. They can't speak for themselves. So if you have an opportunity to speak for them, why not use your voice? You literally have resource within you. Everything you need to make a change is within you. So important to leadership, the first port of call is for you to establish who you are, right? So for a minute, I want you to take an exercise, and I want you to remove the lens of society. I want you to remove the lens of your friends. I want you to remove the lens of your family. And I want you to ask yourself, who are you? What does it leave you with? When we remove family, society, and your friends, who are you? What remains there? So I want for a minute for you to think, okay, who am I? What do I enjoy? What do I like to do? What are my passions? Because we know sometimes when we go to university, we go and we study the degrees our parents have assigned us. Is that really who you are? So if you, for example, are passionate about studying law, as am I, but you are forced to go and study accounting, that already has a lens of family or friends influence on top of it. And you've already delayed somewhat of your progress to achieving what you should be doing in your own path. So for a minute, I want you to think, who am I? Ask yourself. Ask yourself, who are you? What do you enjoy? What are you passionate about? And hopefully someone is going to answer me.
Call them out, Kuswe, call them out.
Okay, I see Katleko. Katleko, would you tell me, without the lens of your family, friends, society, who are you? What do you enjoy? What do you want to see in the world?
Okay, so I am Katleho, and I am very optimistic. I don't know, in every bad situation, I always see good and opportunity. I enjoy music and dancing a lot. And I'd like to see other places in the world. I'd like to travel.
Awesome. Thank you, Katleko. Priska, will you kindly also tell me?
Hi guys, my name is Priska, and I see myself as a person that don't give up, despite the fact that I always fail in the stuff that I do. I see myself as a person that encourages people and wants to see positive change in the world. I don't like seeing negative stuff. I always want to bring out positive in all situations. Yeah, more like I'm a change maker. I want to be a change maker.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your responses, Katleko and Priska. Now, after listening to what you said, right, you have established, okay, who am I? What do I want to achieve? The critical thing then next to do is to say, okay, this is who I am. This is what I want to achieve. So what can I do to achieve those goals, right? So what's the next thing to establish? The next thing is to establish a standard. The next thing is to sacrifice some friendships. The next thing is to remove yourself from certain places in order to get yourself to where you want to be. So for example, in high school, I wanted to run for leadership. And one of the things you had to do, of course, is to have a good track record. That means I couldn't be found involved in any kind of bad behavior because it was important to have a good reputation to run for office. So already, friends that influenced me in the negative could no longer form part of my circle, right? So you've established who you are. You've said, okay, my name is Aku. I love people. I want to find myself in areas of leadership. How do I get into those areas of leadership? I need to have a good reputation. Who right now in my sphere of influence would ruin my reputation? And some of those sacrifices that you have to make are challenging sacrifices to make. But once you establish what you want to do and who you are, those are sacrifices you will be willing to make, changes you will be willing to make. Fast forward to university, a lot of the time, because I have leadership going on and I also work whilst I study, a lot of the times I can't be out with my friends when my friends are out. And those are some of the sacrifices, right? Because there's a bigger vision, right? Katleko is saying she wants to travel. So Katleko perhaps is going to have to start traveling, saving towards traveling in university in order that she sees the world she wants to see. That means that that bag she would buy from Mr. Price or, I don't know, Woolworths can't be bought anymore for now, okay? I think one of the things we struggle with in our generation is delayed gratification. One of the things we have in our generation is that we want things to happen now. But the thing is, if you sow good seeds into your tomorrow, you will always have those good things. My dad always says, fashion comes in and out of season. And so sometimes you want to buy that cute bag now, but if you could save your money for the bigger vision, which is to travel the world, you may find out when you then get there, you have even more money to then buy that bag, right? So delayed gratification. making sacrifices in order to see a really good future. Then I'll move to, after you establish who you are and you set the necessary boundaries, you go to ask yourself, okay, what am I good at naturally? And how can I develop my natural abilities? So one thing I am good at is I'm very friendly. I love people. I love to talk. And so how can I develop these natural abilities? I signed up for leadership courses at the university, right? In first year, I went for tax-raised women in leadership. What tax-raised women in leadership did for me was to develop my skills, to develop my natural abilities. So in tax-raised women in leadership, one of the courses they have is public speaking. So already I know naturally I can speak, but to be an even more effective speaker, I knew I had to put myself in a position where my natural abilities are mentored and grown. And so that's how I then decided, oh, okay, let me get involved in areas that develop my capabilities, right? So it's important to establish what you are good at, what your natural abilities are, because often your purpose is tied to that. Okay, and then moving on, we go to how do you communicate and how do you respond to opportunities? So now we've established who we are, we've established boundaries, we've established what we are good at, we've developed our natural abilities. What is the next step? The next step is to find how you then respond to opportunities around you. So one of my favorite quotes is, if opportunity doesn't knock, build a door, right? So in our spaces, often at school, in university, there are opportunities for you to take part, for you to join. How are you responding to those opportunities? I guess sometimes people complain and say there are not enough opportunities, but sometimes if you look closely, especially in the university space, they are. How are you responding to the opportunities the university puts forward to you? So in first year, I was very excited. I did everything. I went in first year at the University of Pretoria. I did everything residents offered me because I stayed in Res. I looked at the leadership programs that were offered through Res. And that's how I found myself in the Tax-Raised Women in Leadership Academy, because I was keen. I knew I have a goal. I knew I have purpose, and I need to put myself and set myself up in positions where my purpose can be fulfilled. And I am particularly passionate about women and children. So as well, when joining organizations, I was looking at my passions, right? Women and children. So it is fitting for me then to be in a women-inspired leadership organization, right? So you are seeing how our passions, what you are good at, then align with the opportunities that you want to join, right? So it's important for you as a leader. One thing you have to, sorry, I don't know, sorry, someone was calling. One thing you have to do is really be intentional about finding opportunities that align with what you want to achieve. So I'm going to keep giving reference to Kahleko's example. Kahleko says she wants to travel the world, right? So what does Kahleko need to do perhaps when she gets into university? Perhaps make some friends who are studying aviation, or see which friends travel often, ask some questions, you know, and be curious, right? Be curious, be very curious. It's important for you to be intentional about finding these opportunities for yourselves, because no one can take you to those opportunities. You need to know what you want and go for what you want to achieve. Important as well, when you get to these platforms, when you're deciding and when you're responding to opportunities, it's important to really establish and ask yourself some of these questions, because these questions will get you into certain spaces. Are you teachable? And are you respectful? So one of the things about being in leadership is you will come across challenges and you will come across circumstances in which there are times where you do not know what to do. And so probably you can do something and perhaps you get it wrong when doing it. Now, when you're corrected by the people in charge of you or the leadership above you, it's important for you to have a teachable spirit. People always like to work with people who are teachable, people who are respectful, people who have integrity, people who have honor, right? So when you're teachable, when you communicate well, when you show up, when you smile, when you are pleasant, people want to work with you. So I would encourage you to say, okay, because I know in high school, one of the big things, because I know I did it myself, was, you know, to certain people, you have an attitude, right? There's that teacher you don't like because that teacher told you off and that teacher is not supposed to tell you anything. But the thing is, even if you don't necessarily agree with that teacher, there's always a respectful manner to go about it. And sometimes in high school, the manner we deal with conflict is not always a manner which is respectful, right? And so we need to establish ways to communicate with people who are older than us, people who are in the leadership above us in a respectful manner, showing them that we are teachable. And when you are teachable and when you're pleasant to work with, people also then give an ear to what you say. So if you, one quote I like is, you can't fight hate with hate, right? And in the same manner, if you want to communicate disappointment to someone, you can't scream at each other because then nothing is getting solved. What you need to do is sit down and have a mature conversation. Say, sorry, I didn't appreciate what you had to say here. Perhaps if we could do it this way. Can you see the respect in that tone will also enable the person above you to say, okay, she came at me respectfully, so we can then, you know, move forward in a manner that works for everyone. And then one last thing, and I'll bring everything all together, would be, don't be fearful. I think statistics often show that women are more hesitant to stepping into office or to applying for jobs and getting into interviews than men. And sometimes men don't even have the qualifications, but men have the confidence. And sometimes women are so doubtful even when they have the qualifications. And one of the things I've had to do in my leadership journey, in high school, in junior school, in university, is to not be fearful, right? To be confident in who I am, in what I stand for, and in what I'm bringing. And the key to that is knowing who you are. Confidence in who you are starts by knowing who you are. So we go back all the way to where we started, right? Where we're asking ourselves the question, who are you, right? Do you know yourself, right? Because when you know yourself and you know who you are, you're confident in who you are, right? And so it is important to know who we are. Then we move on to, what are you good at? How can you develop these natural abilities? Are you teachable, right? Don't be fearful, but be confident. So a bit more about my story before I finish off is, in first year, I started as a first year, eager beaver, eager to join everything. I stepped into Tax Res Women in Leadership Academy, and they taught me so much. I learned from them. We had a CV session. Now, I must tell you, this session changed my life. Essentially, a speaker came and she was demonstrating what your CV should look like. And I was in first year, and all I had on my CV was the fact that I finished high school and I served as a leader in high school, which was equally great. But I said to myself, it really challenged me to say, okay, this is the only thing I have on my CV. I need to have more. And so moving through university, I then said to myself, what more can I do? What spaces can I find myself in? But key to finding myself in these spaces was knowing who I am and knowing what my passions are and making them align. So I stayed in the Tax Res Women in Leadership Academy. I graduated from it first year. Second year, I served in the academy as a facilitator, and facilitators in the academy have touch-based sessions with students where they teach content about feminism, public speaking, running for office, mentorship. And it was absolutely incredible because now I got to give back the knowledge I had received the previous year. And then in my third year of university, I became the deputy director of the academy. And then now I am the director of the academy. And I must tell you that one thing you must understand is people who are in great positions of leadership and people who we aspire to all started somewhere. There are no shortcuts in life, right? You see me, I started in first year. I had to first be a student and graduate. I had to serve on the team 2 years. And now I'm the director of the academy 3 years later. So there's a process. One of the things we see in our generation is get rich quick schemes, right? Or get to certain places quickly. But the thing is, there is process, and you don't want to miss the processes or take shortcuts to certain processes, because often those shortcuts will reveal themselves later. So take the due diligence to follow through the entire process. Take the due diligence to serve. Take the due diligence to understand what it is you're passionate about, so that you can be able to to serve the women, the platforms you want to serve adequately. Right. So it was critical for me to serve on the Tax-Raised Women in Leadership Academy that long, because I needed to learn. I needed to learn so that when I'm giving back more to women, I have an understanding of what are women's challenges. How can I help women counter those challenges? What can I do in my space to help women get to where they want to be? And I'm very passionate about encouraging young women to be confident in their unique leadership, right? In being yourself boldly. Be yourself. That is the best form and the best starting point for being an outstanding leader. Authenticity is key, really, to being successful in leadership. So don't try to be like anyone else. I'm sure some of you know Greta Thunberg. She's led a revolution up in Europe. And I guess sometimes we would look at someone like Greta and say, wow, I wish I could be like Greta. But don't wish to be like Greta. You have your own purpose and journey that you need to fulfill. Greta is doing hers, but you need to do yours. And the thing is, in our communities, there is always an opportunity for us to serve. There's always an opportunity for us to give back. You can start by looking at your community and saying, what are some of the problems in my community? What can I do to make them better? So I know that sanitary ware is a problem in my community. And one of the things I've started to do now is to launch, right, pad drives. People are always happy to give pads, and you can sort of get the community to get involved, right? You've already solved the problem. And sometimes perhaps people want to be seen on big stages and appreciated on big stages, but really it starts with the small stages, right? I know sometimes they say it's important to be able to have responsibility over small things so that you can be entrusted with big things. So already in your community, what have you started with? And so in my community, I started with Tax-Raised Women in Leadership. I started with peace building. I started with activism, right? Being the voice for the voiceless. I know that I stand firmly in the fact that because there are women in the north of Africa who are victims of war, who have violence perpetrated against them. In South Africa, we know gender-based violence is rife. So what can I do to contribute to the women who are in danger and are not safe? I can use my voice. That's a resource. I can't afford to be quiet. I can't afford to be silent, right? And what else can I do? I'm in university. I'm learning about the law. I'm learning how the law can defend me as a woman and defend other women too. So really put yourselves in platforms where you grow and where your passions align with what you are doing. And really don't lose sight of the change you want to see. One of the things that we know now is young women in leadership is critical. So I'm calling upon you today to take up space wherever you are. Start with the leadership in high school. When you go to university, get involved. We need young women. Can you imagine that in Africa, we only have one woman president right now, and she's the president of Ethiopia. Now, when the African Union meeting is had, the heads of states, so the heads of the African countries are the ones that go for the African Union meetings. So imagine that there's only one woman amongst all of those head of states that are men that is representing women. So can you see that there is a dire need for young women to step up into leadership? And you are the young woman for the job today. So really, I'm calling upon you to please see that you are the change the world needs. Your community needs your input, and you can have input. Look at the resources you have, right? What do you have on you right now? You have a voice, you have a phone. Use it wisely though, because social media as well is critical in building up your reputation as a leader. So as well, do be found in conversations that are life building and not those conversations that destroy life or that perpetuate hate. Because again, when you step up into these areas of leadership, people will look at your track record. Your reputation is important. So with these few words, really, I want to encourage you and say, wherever you are, find what you're passionate about. Align yourself with your passions. Align yourself with people who can help you get closer to where you want to be, and you will surely get there. We need young women in leadership, and if it's not us, it can't be anywhere else. The African Union meeting setting needs to change. How can we have over 50 male presidents and 1 female president in a meeting? Clearly there, we need more change, we need more representation, and the representation comes for ourselves. So I do call upon you to run for office. And just to get back to the key principles that you are learning here today, is that know who you are, be authentic, be proud of who you are, be confident, be bold in who you are. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Don't let anyone patronize you. You are what you need for the change you want to see tomorrow and the change you want to see today. Communicate well, be teachable, speak well to your elders, speak well to the leadership above you. People like to work with people who are easy to work with. And yeah, that is it from me. Thank you so much, Val. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm back. My computer froze and it died. So I missed like the first 10 minutes of your speech. I'm so sorry. But I don't know. You are so powerful. As I was about to say before my computer froze, was that I just feel like I'm so far behind. You know, whenever I hear even younger people speak, young people who are in leadership, I just feel like, oh gosh, I'm like 10 years behind. I'm older than you, but I feel like I'm 10 years behind. You said everything that I believe in, and I think it resonates with everybody here. And our mentees, you've heard me say it over and over and over again. You never stop learning. I've been saying this from session 1. You never stop learning. And being respectful, you know, I cannot emphasize how important that is, because that person in like the cleaner of your office floors is very important, because you might pass that person and the next thing you need them. So working together, just being respectful. It doesn't cost you a cent. Just being respectful. It's amazing. It will take you a long way. Are you teachable? I love that. You know, you can never get to a point where you know everything. It's not possible. I don't care if you're running Tesla, you know, you can never get to a point where you know everything. You must always be open-minded. That's the word I was looking for. Be open-minded, because you never know. That person who's been in the industry for 2 years and you've been in it for 30 years might just teach you something that you did not know. So Akuze, if you want to become a president, you have my vote. That's all I want to say. And by the way, I see our country is now getting to a point where we'll probably have people who are going into elections independently. So there we go.
Thank you, Asnath.
You have my vote. So yeah, ladies, she's here. Ask away. Anyone who wants to ask questions? Hello. I think Priska, you raised your hand. Am I correct? I see Rebecca as well. So Priska and Rebecca.
Yes, I would like to ask Akuzwe if she's faced any challenges on her journey to becoming a leader. Yes, I just want to know about the challenges she's faced.
Yes, so there are always challenges in leadership. Some of the challenges I faced, the battle in my own mind, right? To say, okay, well, am I good enough? And those are big barriers to pass, the inner barriers first, where you are questioning your worth, whether you're good enough, and your confidence, which is why I emphasize knowing yourself, because then knowing yourself then rectifies, and like I said, I am a firm believer in God, so knowing who I am in God then works out some of those doubts out. The battle starts here in the mind. And then when you do step up into positions of leadership, some of the challenges are that you are Black, you are women, and more so, I think for me in the university, I'm also an international student. And that brings a lot of different challenges, especially in the university space. And some of the other challenges I faced are, I guess, people don't believe in you, right? Essentially, some people you want to believe in you don't believe in you. And so for a certain period and amount of time, you have to believe in yourself, and you have to be your own support system, and you have to realize your own dreams. Sometimes people will catch up to your dreams and support you years later, 2 years later. One thing I didn't say is I am an entrepreneur, so I'm a photographer. And I remember when I started up my business, I had even challenges with some of my family members believing in me at the university. And so it took a bit of a while when external people started hiring me for even them to see that, oh, okay, she's doing something here. So sometimes even the people you love and are dear to you won't believe in you, and you will have to see your own future for yourself and continue to work and strive towards it. And I think perhaps that's one of the most heartbreaking challenges that you may face. But you can conquer it, and you can move past it. And as well, you lose some friendships, because when you do well, not everyone is always happy with your success. And so these are some of the challenges you face. Friendships fall away. But I have my best friend here with me today. She is my +1, and she's really stood with me the past couple of years. So you need to find your team, and the team that you have will really stick with you. My family is also very supportive of what I do. So really, those are some of the challenges I faced. And you'll probably face some challenges, maybe worse than mine or easier than mine, but don't lose focus of what you're trying to achieve. And believe in yourself. You have to carry out your dream and see it for yourself, because no one else is going to see it for you. I hope that answers you, Priska.
Yes, thank you so much.
Oh yeah.
Yes, really important.
That's so important, because if you don't know yourself, if you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to go anywhere. Believe in me, it will, as Akuza just said, it will be your closest friend. It will be your cousin who will say something negative about your dream, about something you want to achieve. I think it has happened to all of us here who have, strived to become something in life. So I know it happened to me. So it's very important to know yourself and believing in yourself. Rebecca.
I wanted to ask, since you just mentioned that you faced some challenges that could have possibly broken you, or challenges that could have made you give up, what was your drive? What drove you to achieve everything that you did?
Well, women are dying. Women are abused. Children are being deprived of education, with early child marriages in the north. So sometimes the simplest thing is still seeing the news and the statistics. And I think something I've also had to battle with is when you're doing so much work to try and solve these issues, but it doesn't appear to be working, right? But that has kept me going, because I need to see a change for women in leadership. I need to be in the positions where influential decisions are made. Because if men are still making decisions on our behalf, if men are still making decisions for women, then the change we want to see in our community, how will we see it when we don't have a voice for us? So perhaps when I am in the position of influence and leadership, then maybe the challenges will get me done then. But for now, the job still needs to happen. What I want to see, the change I want to see for my daughters, for my siblings, is not here yet. So I have to keep going. I have to. That has really kept me going, knowing that. And I think for me, one thing I understand is I lost my sister in 2010 through an accident, and she was 16. And so the reality of the fact that we are not here for a long time is a drive for me, because I understand that I don't have a lot of time here on earth. And so whilst I'm here, I need to push as much as I can for the things I'm passionate about. I need to effect as much change as I can. So those are some of the things that drive me, because I understand as well that life is precious and life is short, and we have to make noise. We have to make a change, because we're not here for a long time.
Oh, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. I don't have words again. Anyone else want to ask a question?
Rodina's
Yes,
got her hand up.
Okay. Rodina?
Fine. So I wanted to ask that now that you are in the leadership industry, now that you have fulfilled your goal, are you content? Are you satisfied, or you still want to do more? That was my question. Thank you. Can anyone
Okay.
hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I think for me, I haven't reached my goal yet. I've reached the baby steps to the bigger picture. So like I was saying, you can't magically arrive to where you want to be. You have to sow seeds consistently into where you want to find yourself. So for me, I've actually only begun. I haven't started working for organizations like UN Women, so I still have a long way to go. I haven't started working for some of the top firms in Africa, so I still have a long way to go. I'm not a woman president of an African country yet, so I'm not finished. So I have to keep going. I have achieved the goals that help me then to achieve the bigger goals. Yes, so I'm still on my way. I'm still on my way. We never arrive. As long as we still have the challenges we see, we haven't arrived yet. I hope that answers you, Rodina.
Yes, thank you.
Pleasure.
Anyone else? Thank you so much. Anyone else?
Yusaba, your hands up. Yusaba? You're on mute.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Oh, hi, everyone.
Good evening. Hello.
Hi.
Do you have a question?
We can't hear you. Do you perhaps want to
My question
oh,
ma'am,
okay, go ahead.
I wanted to ask if there's no time
I think maybe just
give
type.
like whether there's a time where you lost hope in yourself.
We lost you a bit there. Or did you hear her?
I got it. I think
Okay.
It was earlier this year when one of the cases of gender-based violence in South Africa happened. I think maybe it was April or March. And because I'm the director of the academy, I have a lot of people who message me for support. And I think that case broke the women in the academy so much, such that they messaged me to say, well, is there any point in the work we do in the academy? Because if these things are still happening to women, then what must happen? And I remember I broke down because I said, well, is anything changing? But I had to pick myself up because I realized, in as much as there's still so many injustices we are facing, there's still so much progress we are making. We are here today, right, with the awesome G4G cohort, and we are teaching each other, we are inspiring each other. You are learning, I am learning. And so there is hope because there is still work, positive work that we are doing. And perhaps sometimes the negative that's happening in society can cloud all of the positive that is also happening. And I think that's natural and normal. But I think what's crucial is to pick yourself up after that. Don't stay there in the trenches. Because as much as bad things are happening, as a young woman in leadership, there are still young women who look up to you. And so you still have a responsibility for those young women. And for me, not only young women, but children who look up to me to say, okay, she's doing A, B, C, D, F, and G. And we are hoping that one day we can also do A, B, C, D, F, and G. So merely by just doing what you do in your own walk already, you inspire someone else. And so don't lose hope in yourself, because there are so many people often that you don't realize are looking up to you. And so in as much as maybe they're few, they are still enough, because sometimes that one person's life you change will then go and change the millions in the world. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you. You know, when you talk about things are not changing fast enough, I think most of us sitting here, we have lost one or two women that we know who were close to somebody that we know to gender-based violence. I've lost my sister to that. And just last week, I lost someone we grew up with to that again. Yeah, and it's all gender-based. And unfortunately, her husband was caught 2 days ago. It was her husband who orchestrated this whole thing. So what I'm trying to say here is that we are far from, this thing is far from over. You know, for me, we have not even tapped into maybe even 2% or 3% of this whole thing. So we cannot stop. And I'm so happy that we have people like you, Akuzo, in our midst who are so passionate about this. And just one person standing up, it's amazing the impact that you actually have. You may not be aware of the impact that you have. You're thinking you are only impacting 2 people or 10 people. And in the meantime, you're actually impacting on 1,000 lives. So we can't stop. Do whatever you can in your immediate environment, in your immediate community. Thank you again. Anyone else?
Revelina was next.
Yes, please. I'm
And
having
I think
connection problems.
Tandazo, is that the name has changed?
No, it's Zinhle. Sorry, just that my
Yeah,
Zoom didn't
okay.
record it
That's
properly.
like that's not okay. All right. You'll go after Revelina. Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Good evening once more. I hope you're still good. Aku, I'm so inspired by you. I think you're such a powerful force, considering that you're also a student. I'm also a student. So I have one question for you. This is what we face at my university. So for women to be in leadership, you first have to fight men. So you have to overcome men. And then after that, you also have to overcome the language, because every time you apply, it's a minimum requirement for you to understand both English and Afrikaans, and not only understand, but also be able to write and read and actually present yourself in that language. So that's how most of us Black women are cut off into leadership roles here at my university. So if you find yourself in such a situation, how would you advise or tell someone to handle it? Because most of the time we leave it there. We just stop running for office at some point.
Okay, thanks for your question. Like I said, the resources you need to effect change are with you. And so if you find a challenge in the system, often what I've done with some of the challenges in my university is to fight. I mean, it's not always a good idea, so you have to have a bit of sensitivity and understand the situation, because as well, you don't want to get kicked out of school, because school is crucial to the bigger part of your leadership run in future, right? So if the system is not working out for you, create your own thing. So if you are wanting to change something in the university, create your own structure, adapt, make use of yourself as the resource, and call your friends to join you. In university, starting a society or inspiring people to start something is not too difficult, because it's not only you who sees this challenge. So find people who have identified the same challenge as you and find a way to register and create a society. If opportunity doesn't knock, build your own door. So if there's no opportunity, if the odds are against you, create your own platform in order to see the change you want to see. That is the advice I would give you. Otherwise, if you can't do it in the university space, find elsewhere to do it. And if there's so much red tape around getting into leadership, sometimes the sacrifice you have to make is to learn the Afrikaans or do something for the greater good. And sometimes it will be uncomfortable, but measure as well. Should I learn the Afrikaans and get into this office of leadership because it's important for someone like me to be in there for representation's sake? Or can I still effect the same change I can effect in office by creating my own platform, or creating a platform with a group of people who are like-minded? I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does, because I've done one of the things you said you must do, just go out. And the process of learning, I'm still there. It's just that I haven't perfected it. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
All right. Thank you. And Zintle?
Hi, Aku. My name is Zingle, and my question is that, okay, first of all, my mom always says that in life there are two types of people, people who look at the glass as half full rather than half empty, and you were talking about the fact of gender-based violence against women and children. So my question is based on that. Like, for example, when you watch the news on a daily basis, you hear someone say, yesterday, a woman was killed, and then tomorrow it was a woman and a child, and then the next day it's women and two children, or two women and one child. Like, the number just keeps on growing. So my question is, in such situations, how do you remain a person who sees a glass as half full rather than half empty? Like, how do you remain optimistic and still believe that there's still going to be change when you still see things like this happening?
Val, can I please just have 2 minutes to plug my phone in? I'm going to answer this right now.
Absolutely, go ahead.
Okay, awesome. So, of course, the news is challenging. And maintaining the balance of half full, half empty is something that may be challenging sometimes. But I think one thing I can perhaps encourage you to do is sometimes turn off the news and push forward without necessarily paying to every news update, because it may cripple you. So know what you can handle emotionally, know what you can take in, know what you can manage in order to maintain that balance in the glass. So sometimes your glass will require for you to turn off the news, maybe for 3 days in the week, and read it once in a while. And I think one thing we do often is to make use of Twitter so much. I know I had to stop going onto Twitter and reading because it was always a negative after negative after negative report. And all that did was break my heart and keep me still in my tracks and make me feel like there's no change I'm making. Yet in reality, like Asnath is saying, you are making a change. So sometimes your Twitter will have to go. Sometimes you'll have to keep the noise temporarily quiet. Sometimes you'll have to hear it because it will keep you going. So I think it's just knowing who you are, knowing your boundaries, knowing what perhaps push you towards discouragement, so that you can know how to manage the different things that then come up and come out. I don't know if that answers your question. You can ask me a follow-up.
That definitely did answer my question. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. And for me, I'm going to give like three more minutes for one more question. But I just wanted to add to what Akuz is saying. I missed part of your presentation, but I heard you when you say that you believe in God. And sometimes it's very important to have, when your spiritual level, I'll call it that, if you take care of your spiritual level, it also helps to combat some of these things when there's so much negativity. And I don't watch the news often. I mean, if I watch the news once a week, it's a lot. I don't. I really avoid watching the news. I meditate. I've said this before on this platform that I meditate every morning, because that just brings calmness into my life. And just take care of your spiritual level. Take care of yourself. Know yourself. If you know your limits, and if you know if you do something and it hurts you or it disturbs you, the question you need to ask yourself, is it serving you? If it's not serving you, don't do it. Just avoid that, because if it's not serving you, it's just going to damage you, really. That's all that is going to happen. Yeah, thank you. And Zanele, one last question. Thank you.
Thank you, Mom Asnath. Good evening, ladies, and good evening, Aku. So my question is that, do you sometimes not that do you sometimes, do you think that the things that are happening to society, to the women, is not because they do not have a voice, but it is because of the lack of knowledge that they have towards certain situations? Let's say, for an example, you can see someone that's being abused every single day by her husband. It's not because she doesn't know that she's being abused, but she doesn't know that it is her right to not be abused. Because to her, as to culture, some cultures say other women believe that her husband beating her up is him expressing his feelings, but then again, it's abuse and violation to her and her kids. So sometimes you feel that it's not the voice that's lacking, it's the knowledge that's lacking in that situation. Thank you very much.
So good, Zanile. I think that's it, right? And that's why when I say again, look at your resources, is you, Zanile, can identify that someone is being abused and that there's a lack of education there about her rights. So what can you do in your community? You can start to equip other young women who don't know that the cultural mannerisms that are perpetuated against some women are not right and are not supposed to happen. So we have so much resource within ourselves to counter some of these challenges. And for sure, some of the violence that happens to women across Africa, and not even only down in the South, but in the North, is that some cultural practices believe that, you know, young children should be married by 8. And that's something that here down in the South is, you know, preposterous. It's out of this world. But that lack of education to know that your rights are being infringed upon is something that they're not aware of, which is why then educating ourselves, being good stewards of our degrees, finishing through, like I'm a law student, I now will be able to equip women with the law to say, look, these are some of the options and alternatives you can use. This is not right. This is your right. This is what's wrong. This is what you can do legally. So definitely, I agree with you. Education is a crucial part in fighting injustice.
All right. Thank you so much, Akuzwe. And unfortunately, we don't have enough time, but you know, from my side, I would really love for you to, you know, be part of some of the discussions, you know, on this platform, because it doesn't stop here. You know, as you were saying, you've just begun, and the more young women we have participating, you know, in making change, impact in life, the better and maybe the faster we'll get to where we want to go to reach our goal. So thank you so much for making time to be with us on a Friday night. I know in Pretoria, Friday nights are very important, social time. But yeah, thank you so much for making time to be with us. Thank you. Thank you
Thank you so much,
And
Asnath.
flowers to you. Yeah.
Thank you to all the women here in the cohort. I'm really so grateful and honored to have been here with you.
Thank you. All right. Okay, ladies, it's time for the circles. So are we all back?
Yes.
Okay. So we all would like to hear about how the session went, what it is that were discussed, and the lessons we learned. I mean, our speaker tonight, if you didn't learn anything, then I don't know, I've lost hope in you. So who would like to go first? Ladies is laughing. Yeah, no, I've lost hope. If you haven't learned anything tonight, no. I give up. Okay.
Can I go first?
Yes. Is that Kutlano?
Yes, ma'am.
Please go ahead.
I'm Kutlano Bianca Mkawa. I'll be representing the Dandelions. So we firstly discussed how we were all inspired by our story. We shared our passions, goals, and things we want to change within our communities. We also acknowledged the importance of knowing ourselves and never to change and to stay confident in who we are. We also got to talk about how fear always gets the best of us and how we should deal with it. In closing, I would like to say the quote, "If opportunities don't knock, close the door, and God first before everything else." Thank you.
Yes, very nice. Very, very nice. Thank you. Yes, if an opportunity doesn't come, you go for it. You know, you make that opportunity. You create
Yes.
it. Yeah. Okay. And who'd like to go next?
Can I go next, please?
Thank you, Zanele.
Okay, good evening, ladies. Again, I'm Zanele. I was in room 3, which is Girls Without Borders. And first things first, we firstly spoke about what we understood about the whole session of today, and we learned that never change yourself or who you are. You should always take time to discover yourself, because then that way you won't struggle further into your journey of life. You should nothing should go before you do, as in certain things shouldn't go before you if you yourself don't tell it, okay, it's time for it to happen. You control things around you, and if you respect yourself, people around you will always respect you. Same goes with your dress code. When you go out into society or into in certain environments, the way you dress will stop certain people from saying certain things about you. That way it is respect, because if you respect yourself, then people around you have no choice but to respect you. And then we also spoke about the ways that people look at you. People may look at you in different ways because people have their own point perspectives on how they look at certain situations. And you should always have values and ethics to anything that you do, your dreams, your inspirations, your village, your family. Always have something, your values and your ethics. And then as you grow older and as you enter into different career fields, you always feel patronized. But then that doesn't stop you from becoming and controlling your goals, because you need to have weapons and certain things that you say to certain people once they start patronizing you. And then fear and worry is like, you know, you always, there's a point you'll get where you're going to start being fearful, certain things where you worry that what if I don't make it, what if this happens? And that's just evidence of things that has really happened in the past, because then fear is false evidence that is appearing in real. So fear is false evidence appearing real. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Zanele. And who wants to go next?
Can I go next?
Yes, thank you. Go ahead.
My name is Blessing. I'm from Group 1 and we are the Mbogotos. So firstly, we spoke about how each and every session that we've had on G4G so far built on today's session, which is running for office. So the first session, okay, we started with the courageous leadership session. On courageous leadership, we identified the leadership qualities in ourselves. We basically we became okay, we built on our, like, we taught ourselves to be courageous. We were taught to be courageous, and with out of communication we were taught to know our audience, so that you, when you know your audience, you know who you're speaking to, and you also know your why behind the words. And then we spoke about negotiation. With negotiation, you have to advocate for yourself, for others, and understand other people. You should understand the people whom you are communicating with. You should prepare questions. You should prepare answers, that you know that they are going to ask you. And then we also spoke about okay, class captain, you, like, basically running for office is you being able to impact people's decisions. When you're able to impact people's decisions around you, then you're running for office. We also spoke about having superpowers. Everyone has a superpower. Everyone has their own superpower. Okay, some people's superpowers are they determined. They never give up. Some people are able to influence others. Like, we all have different superpowers. We should identify our superpowers and build them. We should like some people are just confident, they should just build upon that confidence. And we also spoke about fear. You should not have fear of what people are going to say about you, because in reality, people don't actually think about you as much as you think they do. In reality, people don't really care. So just be respectful, do your best. As long as you know that what you're doing it for a good cause, then you should not care about what other people think about you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. How many groups did we actually have? Is there one more? Okay, the last
Group
group.
2 and Group 4 were combined.
Okay.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Shalat Singweni, and
Hello.
I'm from Group 2 and Group 4. Yeah, we were combined. In our group, we spoke about the 4 concepts, which was don't change who you are, don't let shyness overcome you, and don't let anyone put you down, and get your hands and what's this? Okay, get your hands. I don't remember the 4th one. Yeah. So okay, I'm actually shy and here. Okay, so in my group, they told me not to let shyness overcome me, and they told me to. Oh, Dinzwalo actually said I must fake it until I make it. Mustn't let the shyness like to interrupt whatever I'm doing, or yeah.
Just relax. It's okay.
Yeah. And we even spoke about okay.
Are you okay?
Ma'am.
No, I'm not.
Ma'am Asnath.
Yes,
Ma'am.
Dinzwalo? Yes.
Ma'am, can I help her out? Oh my gosh, she's gonna faint. Can I help her out, please?
Thank you, Dinzwalo.
Okay. Yeah, in our group, we discussed the 4 concepts. After we spoke on the 4 concepts, we addressed each other's fear and as to how everyone can go about it. Like we said to the people who were saying, they were speaking on how sensitive they are. For Zinke and Kat, for an example, they spoke on how sensitive they are and how they tend to forget that sometimes you need to separate between being personal and what do they call it again? Professional. Yeah. So yeah, I advised them to go and learn on emotional intelligence, and as well as through confidence and whatsoever. Everybody must just fake it till they make it. Pretend you are confident until you make it. And I did say, you think I am confident, I appear confident. I'm not as confident as everyone thinks. Thank you.
Thank you. So fake it until you make it.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
I
Fake
think
it
I
till
think
you
I
make
think
it.
I think a lot of us have been in those situations where we were faking it until we made it. Yeah. Sometimes you need to apply that. Unfortunately, just know when to apply it. It doesn't always work. But thank you so much. And yeah, can we have your cameras on, please? Because we need to take pictures. Remember, this is like the second last session. I need mentors to be taking pictures. So please have your cameras on. Thank you. And yeah, just for me, just to wrap it up before I shine a spotlight on somebody. As we've seen from the first session, we spoke from day one that you see how all the sessions are going to build on top of one another. I think by now you can see what we were talking about, because today really was putting what you've learned into practice. So you take whatever you've learned from all the sessions, and I would like to hear from, I think all of us as mentors, we'd like to hear from all of you at any stage how you're doing, what it is that you've taken up, what impact you're making. We would love to, I for one, I know, and I know I'm talking on behalf of all the mentors, would love to know what it is, what impact we've made in your life. Because if you go out there and you start making changes and you start, getting involved in your community, that says to us that we actually did something right. So that is actually from my side. And again, before I shine a spotlight, any of the mentors, would you like to say anything to the mentees?
Yes, I'd like to say something.
Yes, go ahead, Revelina.
Can you guys see me?
No.
No.
Yes, we can see you.
Okay. Okay. Firstly, I would like to say to Shalati, she's such a courageous leader to speak in front of many people. By doing that, you are a courageous leader, and I think your superpower is becoming your fears. And to the mentees, for them showing up in numbers, we are really grateful as your mentors. And we've seen growth from day one. Some of you are very quiet in the groups, and with time, you actually spoke up, you opened up. And we can also see you apply what we've taught you, from building trust to being courageous leaders, to art of communication, to negotiation, and to now running for public office. And I think within this group, there's a lot of leaders, but you just didn't know you were a leader, because remember we said to you, we make leaders. You're not just born and say, yeah, you can lead, but leaders are made. And at some point, I think we argued a lot around that. So I think for now, you're starting to believe what we've taught you at the beginning when you started with the program. And I just want to say, I am really proud of you. And the team for mentors, they're working so hard. These women go to work and they come back, they work again. So it's double duty for them. For some of us, I'm a student, so I just study. I'm like you guys, I study and then I come here. But yeah, it's been a good journey. We're getting there. It's one more session. Please hang in there. I promise you. I only say this. I promise you it's going to be a lot of fun. And it honestly is going to be. Thank you.
Okay, any other mentor? Ladies? Okay.
Okay.
Toms.
All I want to say is for the past 5 sessions, I've learned quite a lot from the mentees, believe you me. What Asnath was saying, to say every time we interact with you guys, we get to find out that we are so far behind, which is a good thing, because you guys are the next generation of leaders, women leaders. You need to surpass where we guys are. So you need to be far better than us. And I'm very proud of you guys, because you're really showing that. And this makes us proud. We also not born leaders or born facilitators, but through the 5 sessions, you've actually taught us how to teach you. And we're very thankful for that. And I must say, sometimes you guys can appear very quiet, but every time I read your chats, I'm like, wow, it's amazing that you guys are actually taking this in, you're listening, and you're starting to apply all this, whatever that you've learned from the previous sessions. And I've made great people from you guys, and really, I would love to know what you guys do after this session. And next year as well, just to let us know, this is what I'm doing, I'm applying this, I've applied the negotiation skills, I've applied the art of communication. It will really be great. And we're really thankful for taking your time on a Friday evening when your fellow friends are probably partying or whatever. But you guys are here, the dedication is very important to us, and to Val as well, because Val has to put everything behind the scenes and doing all those things. So we're very grateful that, at least you guys appreciate what we do, and we really appreciate you and your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
So you don't mean I'm
well,
always going to say something.
yeah, no, I know you're going to say something. I just thought you could say it last. Yeah.
No, I just want before I talk about homework and stuff like that, I just want to say, you know, I think this is my 5th cohort now, and of all the cohorts, you girls are the most prepared. You arrive here knowing your stuff. You do your homework. You're full of fun. You know the answers to the questions. It's actually phenomenal to watch. It's phenomenal. I wish you could see how we have seen you from session 1 to now. I wish you could see the change. You might not realize it, but we've seen this growth, and we hope that they're pearls of wisdom that have you've taken them in quietly. But girls, I'm telling you, you are phenomenal. Know it, you are phenomenal. You've by far my favorite cohort so far. Maybe it's because it's our cohort, but it's my favorite cohort so far. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, lady, the CEO mic is off.
Is it off? Okay, that's odd. I'd like to say thank you for everybody and their contributions and engagements. More importantly, I'd like to say thanks to the Dandelions. I've seen you guys shine and glow, and I'm sure everybody has done that. And it's always inspiring to hear your approaches and your concepts in terms of, concepts to life. As I said, that some of us come in from a you and you come and be like, why can't I do this and why can't I do that? So you're always breaking the ceiling. So there's always an opportunity for you guys to run for office. And it doesn't mean that you have to be an MP or whatever. You can start your own, not riot, but your own mandate for a reason to change, whether it's in women, whether it's in children, whether it's in environment. So it's quite fascinating here, your approaches into life, and it makes me think, it makes me like, try to raise my bar, because I think I should be knowing, but no. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. Any other mentor? No one else? Okay. Thank you so much. Again, I want to reiterate on what the other mentors have said. Again, it's a Friday night. You have made time to be here. You've made the sacrifice. So that tells us that you take whatever information we have to part with, you are taking it seriously. You can see what impact this will have in your life moving forward. So thank you for taking this seriously, and thank you to the mentors as well for making time, because most of these ladies have been working. I can see Val and Mam Gloria, you can see even ladies, you can see they were at work. I wasn't working, but after a long day, they still made it here. So I want to say thank you to the mentors as well for just making time. Thank you to everybody. You have no idea what this means to us. Changing one life matters more than changing none, So this to us, and just seeing you come out of your shells and start talking and start, sharing your experiences. I hope you can take this forward, and always remember you have a village in us. So whenever you need anything, we are here. So yeah, thank you, Val. You can give us homework.
I sound like the school teacher. I'm not a school teacher. All right, so homework for the last session, girls. Number 1, please do the feedback forms. Tonight you will get another feedback form. Please fill out the feedback forms. What we'd love to see in the feedback form is that you feel like you're the best cohort as well. So bring on that positive feedback. It's seen that feedback goes to G4G Global, right? Your words are so important. They go to the global groups and they see how well we in South Africa are running G4G. And then they go, wow, we want to be like South Africa. And we want them to say, wow, we want to be like Asnath Mahapa Foundation cohort. That's what we want them to say. So there. Number 2, there's no video for the last session. What I want you to think about is what you would never do. If somebody asked you to do something, what is it that you would not ever do? Is it steal? Is it murder? Is it... Think about things, think about what your value system is and what you would never do. Okay, not difficult. Think about your principles, your value system, and what your absolute I will not do things are. That's what you need to think about. And then lastly, if you have any messages for your mentors, please send them to me, DM them to me, or if you've made a video or if you've made a picture or anything, please send them to me so that I can put them in the graduation pack. All right. And then you can also speak on the last day as well if you want to, on Sunday afternoon, if you want to. And I must tell you, on Sunday afternoon, our guest speaker is Mrs. Rita Motlana, whom you haven't met yet, but she is a powerhouse. She is the head of G4G South Africa, and you will not want to miss hearing her speak. She is phenomenal. She is the reason why we are all here. You need to hear her speak because she has a voice that needs to be heard. Okay? If you want to see leadership in action and leadership in service, this is a woman that you've got to hear. All right, that's it from me.
Okay, thank you. Yes, so we hope to see all of you there Sunday afternoon. And that will be our last day, unfortunately. But so we hope to look at Tinzalo. We hope to see you all there on Sunday. Okay.
One more thing.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Let's say we have one person running from this cohort running for the alumni group. Lesejo, we wish you good luck. Please, everybody, vote for Lesejo for the alumni leadership. Please, 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 please.
Yes.
We've got to support our own and make sure that she gets lots and lots of votes. Okay, so the voting will be going out next week. Please make sure that she is represented on the G4G alumni leadership team because she deserves to be there. Okay, thank you. That's it. Sorry, I'm finished now.
Yes, thank you. So please don't forget. We'll also remind you in the groups. Please vote for her. Yeah, she's the reason why this cohort happened actually. So please support her in every way. So for me, Priska and Zanele, I would like to shine my spotlight on the two ladies. And I have to say, you've attended every single session since we started. So well done. well
Thank
done.
You, Thank you,
well done. Yeah.
Thank you,
Anyone
ma'am.
else? You are welcome. Anyone else? These are the only two ladies I had in my group tonight.
I must add Rebecca there.
Where's Rebecca?
There she is.
Yes.
Oh, there she goes.
Yes. Rebecca's got this quiet, shy face, but she's always been present and she always participates.
Yeah. So it's though they say what dynamites come in small packages. Sometimes
yes.
Think,
I'd like to also add Melita on that as well. She's constantly calm as well.
And then thank you, Shalati, for overcoming her fears tonight.
Oh yes,
Shalati, well done.
You brave girl.
Well done.
Can I just state for the fact that the Dandelions had 5 girls attending tonight, which is a very good attendance, and on the Friday night. So Like,
Thank you, 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 ladies.
And
Is
they
there
all
anything
participated.
else? Ladies?
I'm saying, and they all participated. They're all quite.
I love it.
Fire.
I'm seeing so much difference, but again, like what Vel was saying, I started seeing a difference. Second session already, we could pick up that there was fire in this house. So thank you. I'm loving it. I just love the confidence. I mean, you really, you have no idea what this does to us, and I think moving forward, we'll try and find ladies like Akuze, but I think it's difficult to meet. Her standards are just too high, but we'll try to find people like her, because I was thoroughly impressed. I was thoroughly impressed. So anything else, ladies, before we say goodnight? You can go and relax and study tomorrow. You have time to study.
Yes, may I say something, please?
Yes, go ahead, Reverend.
I would like to shine a spotlight to my team, Team Bogotos. We've maintained almost 100% for all the sessions, just that today it slacked a bit, but they've been attending and very participative. So I'm shining the light on them.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. Well done. Well done. And well done to every single one of you. Thank you. Okay. Anything else? Otherwise, Val can play us music and then we are on our way.
Yep. Yeah, some of us were very tired. It's been a long day.
You must take whatever Val is taking. Talk to
a moment there for making you. Staying in a vision, they did a great job raising you.
Good night, ladies.
You're my muse.